Hope you guys are doing well and having a great weekend. This is pretty crazy to see. Megyn Kelly is now really turning on Israel and changing that and stating that she views things in a different light, and she's starting to really question the propaganda that she's been fed all this time about Israel. It's pretty shocking to see because you could state that a lot of her views tend to be pretty mainstream conservative, and she's slowly starting to turn, and she even says that Fox News better wake up, otherwise they're going to fail. So take a listen to this. It's pretty shocking.
And only now, Tucker, have I begun to say, like, wait a minute. How much of the narrative that is in our news today has been spoon-fed to me by people who are super pro-Israel at all costs, who won't tell the truth about Israel, no matter what it is, and will cancel you if you don't befriend or defriend people who do. And so this whole thing has made me reevaluate. Like, I'm just starting from square one, basically.
And I'm going to pause right there just for, copyright and stuff too. I don't want to play too much of it. It's pretty shocking because of this. It's not that all of a sudden now she's pro-Palestine. Absolutely not. The difference here is now, though, she's starting to wake up and recognize, oh, wait a second, actually Israel doesn't benefit America. And everybody that's been shoving it down my throat all this time are just truly pro-Israel neocons like Mark Levin, like Ben Shapiro. And of course, now, if you've been kind of following along, you'll see that they tend to, Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are just going after her on social media, especially Mark Levin. He goes after anybody that even slightly questions Israel, including Dave Smith, who's Jewish. And he'll go after these people, and you start to realize, wait a second, these individuals that state they're so-called conservatives really aren't. All they care about is just protecting Israel, regardless of which side the political aisle they end up being on. And they actually don't seem to actually represent America's interests, because a lot of the actions that they're pushing for and that they're telling Fox News to tell its listeners to believe are the same exact sort of thing that doesn't benefit America, but seems like it's just exporting all of America's military over for Israel's benefit. Seems like it's wasting American tax dollars for Israel, and she's starting to wake up and criticize that. And I think it's really telling of the times we're in, that truly there's a massive change on the American right, and people really are fed up with Israel. They're done with Israel, and they're, more than anything, they're done with the censorship of the fear of wanting to criticize Israel. So let's play a little bit more of it, because truly it's interesting.
Israel right now. And I'm actually day by day taking a much harder look at who are they? What do they do? How do I find real information on what happened in this war in Gaza that I will trust? Because I do know I'm being propagandized by both sides. And how will I make up my own mind? Even some of the narratives that we hear, like I'm not a fan of certainly radical Muslims. And I'm not a big fan of Islam. I'm going to be honest. The tenets of it are political, and I don't agree with them. But I have dear friends who are Muslims. And I do start to wonder, like, how much of the very negative messaging about all Muslims, and I've been a part of some of that negative messaging. Don't get me wrong. I'm not wavering from my position that, like, it's not great to have an Islamist running New York City. But how much of the narrative has come from people who are just ardently pro-Israel and need me to hate them?
I mean, honestly, I would have never in a million years thought Megyn Kelly would be saying that. And keep in mind, I mean, she still hates Muslims. It's not like all of a sudden now she's waving a Palestine flag. She truly, I don't think she cares about Palestine at all. She said that. It's really, this conversation is so much less shocking because of her, and more so shocking about what it's telling about the times that we're in today. It's not about the fact that Megyn Kelly now is turning on Israel. It's about the fact that, why is that significant? Because what is it a reflection of that's happening in the conservative right? And it's the fact that even now, it's not just Gen Z on the conservative right that's really starting to turn. It's not just Tucker Carlson, but they're starting to build a coalition. Might not be the strongest coalition yet. Israel still has much of the mainstream conservative right, basically 99% of a mainstream right politicians, every politician really, except for Thomas Massey on the right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, so there's still a small, it's not a huge number, but there's a coalition starting to form, especially among younger generation and Gen Z, that are truly just sick of Israel and this overreach. And they're starting to bring on people. People are really starting to listen to the argument and be like, wait a second, this is 100% true. Why are we wasting our time defending Israel and exporting violence here to America, spending billions of dollars? What benefit is this to America at all? And then you have people like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. And when you want to have regular dialogue about that, they're like, oh, hell, absolutely not. We're going to censor you. We're going to destroy your life. You can't ask those questions because we don't have a good response to it. So we're going to actually just shut down your speech, and we're going to make sure that you can't say that. And if we can't shut down your speech, well, then we're going to go ahead and really push the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and we're going to go ahead and really push the Israel lobby to pass legislation on, social media algorithms. And we're going to have the ADL, start to work with social media companies. Jonathan Greenblatt just going publicly on an interview stating, "Oh yeah, I talked to Elon. I talked to all the social media platforms. I called them up. They're like my buddies, and we just constantly monitor everything." They'll shove the new hate speech manager of TikTok as a proud pro-Israeli. That's kind of their shtick. That's what they'll do. They'll just go after and attack you. And it's funny because Megyn Kelly is somebody that's always supported Israel. Till now, she'll say, she's always on the pro-Israel side, but it's because she asked she asked the very basic questions, and even the very basic questions they went after her for, even asking the most generic things, while they knew that she's on their side, turned them off and upset them so much that she started to push back a little bit and push back a little bit. And a lot of other people are starting to feel that way. It's Israel's losing supporters daily. It's honestly, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. They're digging their own grave. I've been saying this forever. I know a lot of other people have as well. They're digging their own grave. Everything that they are doing is counterproductive to what their goal is, which is apparently not to spread hate among their own community or have hate targeted at their own community, but their actions are, the pro-Israel actions are, directing that, and it's working against them. And again, this would be kind of a good time here to show my disclaimer. It's always good considering how much my videos get targeted. So anyways, guys, that's really what's going on. People are starting to wake up. Things are starting to change. She also said, actually, with Tucker Carlson, that she didn't go after Candace Owens because she kind of wanted Candace Owens to ask those questions, and she even wanted Candace Owens to ask the questions related to Israel. And it's shocking to just hear her say that publicly, because Tucker Carlson's also made statements on that. Candace Owens, of course. And now you're starting to realize, oh, like Megyn Kelly actually liked it. Of course, the Israel crowd is on social media now freaking out, talking about how Megyn Kelly's lost it and they've lost Megyn Kelly. It's the thing is, though, they can't hold back the river. Just recently, also, James Fishback, he's running for governor of Ohio. There was information coming out that Miriam Adelson views him as a threat. Miriam Adelson being the billionaire pro-Israel, she lives in Israel, the Israeli-American billionaire that's spending billions of dollars or spending millions of dollars across the country on different campaigns. And she says that people like James Fishback, just a political candidate, is the biggest threat to Israel. They're starting to even target, people that was initially not even somebody that was considered a serious candidate, and yet they still call them the biggest threat. So how many people are they going to deem a threat to Israel? We recently also just had an Israeli official come out publicly. This is the same one where you guys might have heard, where he said that they want to monitor the social media algorithms and everything else. And then there was the minister of, I believe it was diaspora affairs on anti-Semitism. And he comes out publicly and he says, Tucker Carlson is the biggest threat. So you have Israeli officials saying Tucker's the biggest threat. Miriam Adelson saying James Fishback is the biggest threat. Apparently, of course, you're going to start hearing people say Megyn Kelly is the biggest threat. It's not going to stop. And what they don't realize is they have a whole wave coming at them. You take out one, there's going to be hundreds and thousands more. It's not done. So they can either start to reevaluate what they're doing to foment that sort of that movement, or they can ultimately just take what's coming at them. They're digging their own grave. So anyways, guys, that's really it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to support my channel, I'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up as well. Otherwise,